In 1934, we had just come out of the age of Prohibition, and there was a lot of violence during that time with gangland killings, organized crime, assassinations, and because of the mood of the country and how emotions were running so high, the 1934 Gun Control Act was passed into law. And what this did was not to ban machine guns, suppressors, short-barreled rifles, any other weapon, which is a gun that's disguised as something else. It placed a $200 tax stamp, and there was a lot of paperwork, and you had to register the firearm. Because of that, it restricted a lot of your law-abiding citizens from owning these firearms, because $200 in 1934 was an extravagant amount. Now, this has been kept into place ever since 1934. One of the things, though, about that, the whole concept of that law was it was a cause and effect. If they hadn't enacted prohibition in the first place, we wouldn't have had all these problems that happened during those years. And after that time, it kind of lulled down to where I think there's only been one instance where a fully automatic machine gun has been used in a crime or a murder. And out of the thousands that are out there. Now, in 1986, there was the Firearm Protection Act, which was really big in protecting gun owners, gun shops, and keeping abuses down from the ATF. There'd been a lot of instances and court battles because the ATF was abusing its power. Not only with entrapment, but also harassment. But one of the downsides of the Firearm Protection Act was the Hughes Amendment. And this was an amendment that actually restricted the manufacture of machine guns after 1986, where they could only be sold to military, police, and to be exported, and of course dealer samples. And that means that it restricted the sale to civilians any machine gun made after 1986. Now, that's driven the price of machine guns out the roof. I mean, they're very expensive. In fact, an M16 runs about $16,000. And so it's made it very difficult. But now, one of the things, though, that has come up lately is the Hearing Protection Act. And that's something that Jeff Duncan here in South Carolina, in fact, he's my representative, is the sponsor of that bill. And it is to deregulate suppressors to where, you know, you can buy them just like you could a regular firearm, because suppressors have become so popular. And it is one thing that has really a big chance right now to kind of get through Congress, if anything does. But right now, guys, what we need to do is to get involved. And that's one of the things that I've been petitioned by a lot of viewers to make this video, which was already on the books to do, is to some of these petitions that are out there to the White House. And one is to repeal the NFA, or that 1934 Gun Control Act, to repeal it. And then the other is to repeal the Hughes Amendment. These are two really strong bastions of gun control that still remain here in the U.S. Now, with a pro-gun president and House and Senate, we have a better chance than ever to get some things going. You know what? We may never get the NFA repealed. In fact, honestly, I don't think there's much of a chance to do it. But one of the things that it will do is maybe deregulate maybe short-barreled rifles, and suppressors, and get some of those things underway. Of course, the Hughes Amendment, that would be a big one. And it would reduce the price of machine guns. You'd still have to get your $200 tax stamp. You still have to go through the paperwork, but it would bring the price down to where average guys could afford it. Some of you guys are like, I don't want machine guns to be out there on the streets. I mean, it'd be just total chaos. And, I'm not going to try to talk you into that or out of that. But what I am going to say is the Democrats use this kind of strategy they go for the sun, and with these crazy, outlandish pieces of legislation they introduce, and then the conservatives come in and compromise, and they end up getting the moon. And I think that's one of the kind of strategies to me that we need to do, is to shoot for the sun and then get what we can at the moon, and really help not only protect our Second Amendment rights, but also, relieve a lot of the restrictions. Because guys, as law-abiding citizens, which most of the people that watch these videos are, we have that cloud hanging over our head that we shouldn't have. We have freedom. We're here in America. This is a free nation. Now, a lot of you are going to argue about that, but the fact is we're the freest nation that still remains on the earth. and we need to stand and fight for our rights. If we don't, we're going to lose. Just like a football game. Guys, there's no football game that's ever won totally defensive. You've got to have an offense. You've got to be able to score those points, and that's what we've got to do. A lot of people right now are sitting back and going, oh, well, you know, we have a gun-friendly Congress and Senate. We can kind of sit back and relax. Listen, we've been under the gun so long for the past number of years. It's not just been the past 8 years. It's been longer than that. And on the defensive, it's time now, while we have a chance, to get on the offense and to stand against these measures and these things that are coming up. Guys, it was a really close call this last time, especially with the Supreme Court. We could have lost everything. And now's the time, though, to get firm and to stand behind these different petitions that are going on and to get behind legislation. One thing, too, that's not really talked about a lot is the 1968 Gun Control Act, which restricted a lot of imported guns, especially those that are smaller firearms, and just puts more import restrictions on what can come into the U.S. That's another one, guys, that we need to look at to change. So now, how do we do this? How do we change things? Well, number one, those White House petitions, the Repeal the NFA and to repeal the Hughes Amendment, are two big ones. And I know Tim from Military Arms Channel, who just did a video on this same subject, he was talking about that. And because he got on there and made that video, it passed over 100,000 signatures. And so here's the deal, guys. It has 128,000 signatures right now. There is also a petition on that same page for Trump to show his income tax returns. And there's almost 700,000 signatures on it. Guys, we've got to get behind these things if we really believe in them and show our support. And we need to have 1 million signatures on that Repeal the NFA, on Repeal the Hughes Amendment. Now, I'm going to have those links down below, and it's really important that all you have to do is sign it and send it. And then you confirm it. They'll send you an email and you just confirm it. But that's not enough. We need to get involved with our Congress and our Senate. We need to get in touch with them, and we need to let them know where we stand. Now, you may say, well, my congressman is strictly Democrat, and he's a liberal, and he's anti-gun, and he's not going to vote for it. That may be true, but it still doesn't absolve you of your responsibility to get in touch with him anyway and to make a stand. I'm going to tell you, in a video, I'll do a video of something, and down in the description, someone will leave some very critical remark, and I'll see it, and I may not agree with it, but I think about it. I look at it. I'll have 100 positive, I'll have 1 negative, and I'll think about it. You need to make him think, and you need to let him know that you oppose what he's trying to do, and maybe he'll consider, maybe he'll think about it, and if enough people do it, then he will start to consider it. Same thing is with the guys that are pro-gun, or just like Jeff Duncan, the one that actually sponsored the Firearm Protection Act is my representative, and I sent him a glowing letter saying thank you, giving him the confidence to keep going when he's under attack. So get behind your Congress and your senators. Personalized letters are the most important, or phone calls, and it's real easy to do. Get involved. One easy way too is to get on Popvox. I'll have it down below, the link, and you can get on there and you can vote and show opposition or support for different bills that are coming through Congress. And then you can send a letter. And one of the things that Popvox does, which I really like, is they leave it pretty open for you to put in what you think. You know, don't use the templates. I know with the NRA, they have a lot of legislative alerts that come over, and you can sign a petition and send it. And I'll always get rid of what they're saying and put what I want to say. And that's the best way to do it, because it really personalizes the response. One other big thing to do is to get involved in NRA if you're not. Guys, it's cheap and it's huge. The NRA has 5 million members. It should have 20 million. And we should be standing behind and getting behind those guys for what they're doing. They know the ropes. They know the ways through Congress. They know the way to get in there and to support what we're doing on the other side with our phone calls and our communication. The Gun Owners of America is another big one, a great organization. The National Association of Gun Rights, another great one. And there are many others, and there are local gun rights organizations as well. Get behind those organizations, not just one. It's not the NRA against the GOA. It's together we're fighting for the right cause. And one thing that I do with NRA is they'll send me a petition. At the end, they'll ask for money. Now, you don't have to. They'll send the petition anyway. But I make donations regularly to the NRA. I'm a life member of the NRA, and I feel that it's that important. Also, supporting the NRA annual meetings, which are coming up at the end of April. I'll be there. All your big gun channels will be there. And you can meet them, get to know guys. I mean, it's a lot of fun. But it's a huge gun show like you've never seen, with all the big manufacturers there and everything that you can imagine. So it's just a great time to enjoy the shooting sports and also to come together as a big association. Guys, one, we can do very little. As a group, we can do a lot. As an army, we can move mountains, and we've got to move mountains. YouTube has become a big force in the gun community because a lot of people are turning to YouTube for making gun purchases and gear purchases and things like that, and training. And so we have a voice. And so let's work together and let's stand firm. Guys, it's time. It's time to stand firm for our gun rights, because if we don't now, we're not going to have a chance later on. And in the next 2 years, Congress could change. The Senate can change. Right now, while we've got a majority, we need to make things happen. The time is of the essence. Get behind those leaders that are for our rights and start to fight against those who aren't. So guys, down in the description below, I'm going to have the links to go to. Very easy to get involved, guys. With the internet, it's so easy to show support and to get out there and to fight. Believe me, the other side's doing it. And the other side, a lot of times, being paid to do it. You do the right thing because it's our rights. It's our God-given rights. And it's time to stand, because if we don't, we're going to lose it. And that's going to affect our generations to come, whether it's our children, our grandchildren, and beyond. Fight for America. Fight for our rights as American citizens. And do the right thing. Be strong. Be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Be strong. Hush!